Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 97 of the Game Changers. One more episode before our 100. One more, you guys. Can you believe this? I am your host, Carla, and tonight I'm bringing the heat with none other than Dennis Clausen. His knowledge and insights are sure to elevate our conversation as I dig into the game behind the game. A huge shout out to the incredible TSA team for backing up this mission of amplifying voices and sparking ideas. This platform exists because of visionaries like them and listeners like you. Whether you're here for fantasy football gold or simply love stories that shift perspective, you are in the right place. The Game Changers is more than a podcast, it is a movement. So tonight's guest is someone who's turned grit on the mat into strategy behind the mic. Dennis Clausen didn't start out as a sport fanatic. In fact, his early years were spent mastering folk style, freestyle, and Greco-Roman wrestling with a side of Brazilian jiu-jitsu. But once he caught the basketball and football bug, there was no turning back. He became a devoted Brooklyn Nets fan and rekindled his love for the Cincinnati Bengals. Yes, the same team he used in Madden back in early 90s. Then he took that passion and built a career in fantasy sports journalism. Now, nearly a decade deep at Rotoballer, where he covers NBA and NFL news with precision and insight. He's a proud member of the FSWA and a fierce competitor in the Kings Classic Fantasy League, where top writers from across the industry go head to head. Beyond the stats and storylines, Dennis is a family man who finds joy in gaming, especially Madden, NBA 2K, and Final Fantasy, and in spending time with his wife and daughter. His journey is a testament to evolving passion and staying true of what lights you up. Let's welcome all Dennis Clausen to the show. Welcome, Dennis. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Thanks for that intro. I'm not that interesting though. I'm very boring. I'm a very
You're
boring
not.
person.
You're not at all boring. Knowing you and like meeting up with you at the expo was something really special and amazing. And to get to know you tonight is gonna be more amazing. So tell me, what did wrestling teach you about discipline that still shapes your work today?
Wrestling is by far the hardest sport on the planet. There's nothing
Yep.
like it. If you can wrestle, you can do anything. I wrestled. I wrestled a lot, in high school, after high school, and things like that. And it's just the best sport there is. And as much as I love like fantasy sports and all that stuff, like there's nothing like wrestling and to me it's a beautiful sport. It's the toughest sport, and if you can make it through wrestling and you can, there's nothing else you can't do.
Awesome. I love that. I didn't know you wrestle, but that's crazy. I love it. Which style, folk style, freestyle, or Greco-Roman, best matches your personality?
I really don't know. Each one has their their pros and their cons.
Yes.
Just anytime I was out there, I was having fun, and just enjoying myself and just having fun, even if I was getting you know even if I was getting my ass kicked a little bit, I'd be okay. It's just great. It just builds character. It's a character builder.
I agree. I love it. Did the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu change how you think about strategy in sports?
I don't know. I just have always been like a strategy kind of guy with anything in general. I've always
Yeah.
liked I've always liked like spreadsheets and Google spreadsheets, and I guess that kind of ties into strategy because as it relates to like fantasy sports and stuff, I like making my spreadsheets on players and values and uh, especially if I play a ton of DFS on for football. I play a ton of NBA DFS, but it's just something, strategy, you need the strategy. So that's just something I've always liked to do,
Yeah,
planning and analyzing and stuff like that.
I love it. So, if you could coach your younger wrestling self, what advice would you give yourself?
Jeez, that's a good question. Um, I would have enjoyed it a little bit more and
Yeah,
appreciated it more, and uh, just stayed in the moment a little bit more and just realized what I had when I had it, and not take as much of it as for granted as not that I did, but at the time you don't ever really think that you're ever going to get older,
true.
and you don't ever foresee yourself as getting older. And now that I'm 42 years old, um,
God bless.
you still you take your health for granted when you're younger and you're not really thinking about that stuff. But now that I'm older, I appreciate it, and I wish I would have appreciated that more
Yeah,
and I
yeah, I
enjoyed
get it.
myself a little bit more.
Yeah, that makes sense. I get that. So, talking about wrestling and talking about being behind the keyboard, how did the transition from the mat to the keyboard feel for you?
I really didn't. I really wasn't into anything else but wrestling. When
Yeah,
I was in my teens and my early 20s and stuff, I really didn't do anything, but I just was really focused on that. And it just, I remember growing up with my brother, and my brother would be, back in the days when, you didn't have iPads or anything like that. So you were kind of just forced to watch what everybody else was watching. I would always watch basketball or football, but it wasn't like something I really liked, but I just watched it because that's what my brother was watching because he was older. And then if I couldn't disagree with him, because he's older. So, but eventually later on, maybe is my late 20s, maybe I just started watching it, and then fantasy stuff came out. I started dabbling in that a little bit, and then DraftKings and all that stuff came out. I thought that sounded fun, so I started dabbling in that a little bit. And then as time went on, I just started. It just kind of took off from there.
I love that, Dennis. So we were talking about basketball and the Brooklyn Nets. Like you were saying that you were hooked because of your brother at first, but why the Brooklyn Nets? Why why
Well,
why you picked that in the first place?
well, I'm from Brooklyn
Yeah,
originally, but the Brooklyn Nets came around really, when I started kind of like following basketball like more serious, like. So I don't know. I just found myself just watching Nets games because they're from Brooklyn and I'm from Brooklyn. And then all of a sudden I just became more invested in it. And I kind of anytime I watch sports, football and basketball, I enjoy watching it, but it always coincides with what I'm doing from a fantasy standpoint. There's never, they just always go hand in hand for me. I enjoy it, but I enjoy it even more. It started to turn into I was watching, Mets games, but I was also playing fantasy sports, and I just got so hooked onto watching the games and following the numbers and seeing who's doing what, and just all that stuff is just awesome.
if you could rewrite one Nets season, which would it be?
Besides this one, because they're horrible, they're terrible. Um, I don't know. I just think there's a lot of years, the past couple of years, that I wish were rewritten. And it all started with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving and James Harden. I wish all that was just rewritten, and it never went in that direction, but it did. And the Nets are at the point that they're at, and they're still suffering the after effects, and they're trying to rebuild their roster. But it's going to be a really crappy time to be a Nets fan, and it's going to be crappy for probably a lot of years coming up.
Do you have any like underrated Nets moment that you want to talk about?
I just have always there's not really like specific moments that that really like stand out to me. I just
Yeah.
even when the Nets are garbage, which a lot of the times they are garbage, they're just not a good team. But I just love like they're very gritty at times. I've loved some of the guys that played on the team before. I loved when D'Angelo Russell was there. I love Spencer Dinwiddie. All those guys during those times. Even when they were losing, it was still fun to watch because it was just something I enjoyed doing. And I don't know why I still like them, but I love them, so I can't help it.
So Kujo is asking why I still have my KC flag, why I love my Chiefs fans. So look at my hair, Kujo. I'm enough said, enough said.
I'm
So
in I'm
Dennis,
in Syracuse. I'm in Syracuse about a couple hours, and everybody is Bills fans up here, so everybody's walking around tall after a Chiefs win, or after a Bills win over
oh
the
my God.
Chiefs on Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. It was a good game with the Bills. It was really a good game. I mean, I didn't like it that they didn't win, but at the same time, they deserve the win. The Bills deserve the win
But
this
it
week.
doesn't matter at this point
Yeah,
because the Chiefs have proven time and time again over the years that they could limp into the postseason and they're going to wind up in a Super Bowl. So, and
right?
the Bills notoriously have done this. They've beaten the Chiefs in a regular season.
Agree.
Same thing like the Bengals did that too. But then if it gets to the postseason, that's when it really matters.
Yeah, I agree 100%. So hear that, Cujo. It's not just me. It's Dennis too. So tell me, Dennis, what drew you back to the Bengals after all these years?
Well, I was still kind of following the Bengals,
Yeah,
not really super hardcore, but I would just do it just to do it. But back in the day, like in 2000s, like early 2000s, like I know it's awful, but I would have to watch Bengals games. I would like go over to like my buddy's trailer. He had like a huge satellite dish because he had the Sunday ticket
yeah.
on Direct TV, which was the only way to watch at a market stuff. And I would go over there and watch the Bengals, and you know they weren't a very good team back then. There's a lot of bad seasons for them too. So yeah, I don't know why I picked these teams. I'm stupid, must be because these teams have been horrible. But
Oh,
I I love the Bengals, and I can't help it. So
so what's your answer to Bengals and Bears this week? Did you watch the games? The game?
yeah, oh yeah, I watched it. Uh, um, I super surprising, but I'm not. I was surprised
Yeah.
they managed to come back, but I wasn't surprised that they blew it at the end of the game. You know,
That was crazy. So Doug is saying that my last day as a Bengal fan was the day they flew in Ahmad Bradshaw for a visit and chose to re-sign Cedric Benson. LOL. So,
what up, Doug? How are Doug's a good dude.
do you agree with that? Do you agree with him, or you're still a Bengals fan?
I'm still a Bengals fan, but there's been a lot of frustrating moments
It is.
throughout.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Like, there's a lot of teams that they need to like push it a little bit and change how everything is happening because it's always the same. I think it's always the same teams that they go till the end. So I want to see like new blood, like they say, right? I want to see that at some point. I mean,
Well,
I love my Chiefs, but I want to see like someone different.
it's very frustrating with the Bengals though because they always like go one step forward and then two steps back, and then you know it. They made the Super Bowl, And then the following year, they were almost going to make it again, and it was great. And then all of a sudden, we're kind of right back to where we're at. So it was kind of like going to the prom with the best looking girl in school, um, which it was great to be there. But then you weren't able to get a kiss at the end of the night.
Yeah,
That's what it's
got it.
like.
So, what's your boldest prediction for the Bengals' future?
I still think they could make the playoffs. I'm
Yes, this year?
I still think they could do it. I mean, granted, it's going to take a little bit, but they got the bye week coming up, which is a good time for any team, especially if you're looking to, you know, iron out some kinks and stuff like that. But I'm not. Yeah, Dennis is miserable with being a Nets and Bengals fan. But yeah, I'm not convinced that it's done, that they're done. I still think that they have some life left in them. I mean, we're only in week 10, so there's going to be some games left. And if you can make a run, it could happen.
It can happen. Anything can happen, especially with all the teams having a lot of injuries this year, and there's so much going on. It's crazy year.
Injuries are
Every
huge.
single year. I'm sorry.
I say
What did
injuries
you?
are huge. Injuries are huge, happen all the time. It could change everything.
That's insane. Every single year we say that there's a lot of injuries, and every single year it's more and more. So how are your teams doing, Dennis, with all the injuries that's happening this year?
I am happy to say that for the most part, most of my fantasy teams, and I'm probably in like 12 leagues,
Yeah,
but I will say most of my teams are very competitive. I have a couple bad teams, but a lot of that is like I I set a plan of the guys I like, heading in, but then a couple leagues I might change it up a little bit just for some variation, just because,
yeah.
So um, that's just how it goes. I try to just think logically with the teams and take it as it goes.
Did you ever won the King Classic?
No, never. And I stay competitive, a lot, but they're good players in the Kings Classic. There's a lot of good players in there.
It's crazy. Every single year I go to the expo, it's getting like harder and harder. And there's a lot of great player, like you're saying, Dennis. I love seeing everybody there at the expo. Are you coming this year for the expo?
I always say every year it's going to be my last year, but I said that 5 years ago, and I'm always back
Let's go.
every year. So yeah,
I love that. Me too. Every year.
I know. You know what? I'm gonna take the year off and maybe I'll come back. But literally, I've been back every year.
Yeah, yeah. No, I love the family like at the expo. I love what Bob, made, and I love seeing you guys there. It's something really amazing.
It's nice
Um,
because you run into people and you see them and you give people hugs and it was like, hey, how are you? You know what I mean? Like you build really good relationships with people.
I agree 100%. So tell me, talking about the King Classic, what do you like most? Do you like, and we have Scottish Bowl as well. Do you like a live auctions more, or do you like the ones behind the computer? Which ones you like more, Dennis?
I think these days a lot of people have gone away from in-person drafting.
Yeah,
And
why so?
well, I think it's kind of maybe a COVID thing. It kind of started and then people kind of just kept it going. But I there is something about getting together with your friends and drafting teams, eating a bunch of good stuff, and like the in-person drafts are great. Like doing it online is all right. It's still fun. I still like doing it, but
Yes,
it's great to just be there with your pals and stuff, and everybody's talking crap to each other and cracking jokes, and you're eating a bunch of food and things like that. So it, it depends on the day. If the live draft is on a Saturday, a Friday or Saturday, perfect. If you're going to make it on a Sunday, I don't want to be in person. I'd just rather do it online.
Yeah, I really love that. So Kojo is asking if you care about the NBA Cup, which I know that you do, but it's it's your question.
Actually, I absolutely hate the NBA Cup. I think the NBA Cup is
That's your
uh,
answer, Kojo.
the stupidest thing that they could ever come up with. I don't think it means anything. I just think it's glorified regular season games. I absolutely hate it. I hope they get rid of it because it means nothing.
Ooh,
And yeah, that's my answer. I mean, it means something because they're still count toward the standings, except for the last game. But other than that, it's meaningless. To win an in season championship is nothing. It means nothing.
wow. That's a personal answer. So let's keep talking about the Bengals a little bit. If the Bengals were a video game character, which I know that you like video games, what who would they be?
I can't come up with one right now. Maybe in 5 minutes I'll think of something. But
Okay, so let's
I'm trying to think of a character that just is, I you'll have to give me a couple more minutes and it'll come into my brain.
you're fine with that. What's your earliest memory of playing Madden?
It's playing on a Super Nintendo, and I was like a little, fat, chubby kid back in the day, and I didn't really do a whole lot. I like to just kind of just play video games and watch TV and like that. That was, and I'm still kind of the same way now, except just I'm an old chubby guy. So it really is just I just looking back on it, just how fun it was being a kid and just playing the game and then playing with your friends and stuff as time went on. And that was fun.
I love that. Which Madden cover athlete define your childhood?
That's another good question. I would s- I don't I do not know. I don't know if I can really pick one because back when I was playing, they like Madden was on the cover,
Yeah,
and then there wasn't like so, and then I got out of Madden for a while, and now like the past couple of years, I'm like really back into it. But I don't know. I think that not having an athlete on the cover was good. I like just seeing Madden on it, with the headset on, and you know
yeah,
that was
yeah.
my to me that was the best.
Awesome. Do video games influence how you analyze real sports?
I think there's a good qualities about like in a lot of the video games I play are like strategy video games where you have to like think and stuff like that. It's not like you're just running around and shooting people and stuff. You might so I like games like that because I'm just you're making your brain work, and
Yeah,
I like to like look at things and think about things and figure out what the hell's going on and try to like what I mean, come up with a solution and stuff. So
if you could design your own sports video game, what would it feature?
I miss the days of when they had NFL 2K and
Yeah,
it was more realistic. It was more, I think there needs to be a little more realism in terms of like, challenging plays. And there's better ways to do that and stuff like that. I think that there's still a lot of room for improvement because
hope
it's kind of just like fantasy teams. Like people like to play it because
yes.
it kind of puts them in that space like, oh hey, I'm in charge of a team, that kind of thing.
I love that. So, do you prefer playing solo campaigns or online competitions?
I've always been a solo guy. I think it's just something like I've always been like a very well liked guy, and I'm not like egotistical or anything, but every time I walk in a room, everybody's always like, "Hey, Dennis, how are you?" Blah blah blah. But but I'm very like reclusive. I like to
Yeah,
just I spend most of my time by myself as much as I can. And it's not that I don't like people. I I love most people, not everybody, but I've just always been more comfortable just being by myself. You know what I mean? And so that's kind of like how I've just always done it. Nothing's changed. I've just always been the same kind of guy. I never really like went to parties or anything or any of that stuff. I was just always kind of just hanging out, watching TV, and every so often I would hang out with
I
my
love
pals.
that.
Yeah,
I love that. I mean, this is your personality, and I love it only because nowadays I think it's better to stay alone than, than being outside because people are getting crazy.
they're
So
nuts.
keep doing you, my man. Keep doing you. Love
Yeah,
that.
I mean, at this point in time in my life, I just generally, like to spend time with my wife and my daughter.
I love that.
Um, especially to anything that I could do, anything in my free time, I'm always thinking like, I wish my daughter was here to do this with me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because I'd
Yes.
like to do everything with her or my wife, because but I also like my alone time, and they understand that.
I love that because I have you on Facebook and I see all the pictures that you post about your daughter and how proud you are with her and the sports and the challenges that she go through, and you're always with her, and I love seeing that because when my kids were young, I was part of their life too, and this is important. They grow up like that, Dennis, like so fast,
They grow.
and
It's crazy.
it
It's
is
crazy.
crazy. It is crazy. I mean, my oldest is almost 23, so let's keep it quiet. Tell me, Dennis,
Yeah,
what was yeah, what was your first published fantasy sports piece about?
I I I started writing like for free, like back in the day, and like um so, but I've always been a news guy. I've always liked writing news more. So, the little snippets that,
Yes,
people see them on Sleeper, and then everybody just craps on whatever you wrote, because everybody knows more about everything. But I like writing news way more than I like writing full length articles because I can, news I jump on, write 100 words, 150 words on a player, and then you can just move on to a whole new topic and write about that. And I think doing that too, like I've learned a lot because you're constantly bouncing around. So instead of focusing on one player, you're writing up 1,000 words on one player. um, you're bouncing around just writing little new snippets. So I've been doing that that's how I started, and that's kind of like what I enjoy doing the most.
I love that. And how did you land on Rotoballer?
When I first started, it was just, I wasn't making anything. Like I didn't have any, like, it was free. I was just doing it just because it was fun. You know what I mean?
Yes,
But then I saw Rotoballer, and I submitted my application, and I've been there almost a decade now, and I'm
wow,
like very grateful of to be there. I absolutely love the site. The site is growing a lot. I absolutely love the guys I work for most of the time, not all the time, but they've always treated me really well, and I feel they value me. So that's to me, it's not everything's about money. It's about value.
agreed.
If you treat me well and you value me, I'll take that any day over making more money, you know?
I love that. Being kind, respect, and everything. I'm a great person who always fight for that. And you saying that, that's really amazing, Dennis, because we do, especially in nowadays, even with all the work that we're doing, um, being respected is the most important thing. You feel comfortable, you do better work if you are feeling respected. So I love that rotoballer is a part of your daily life that makes you feel, you know, you, to say the least.
Well, when
That's really nice.
when I started, there wasn't a lot of people writing for that site, and the site has grown so much. But it's just it's nice to get paid. I like to get paid,
Of
and
course.
who doesn't? It's more money I can spend on my daughter at Target buying skincare stuff. But um, yeah, to me though, like I've always been a big respect guy, and that's to be respected is probably one of my if you don't respect me, I pretty much don't have any use for you. And I'm
Love
not
it.
saying it from a term of like you need to respect me, but
No,
I I'm like, if you're just gonna not be a good person, then I'm not interested.
word. I love that. No, I agree with you 100%. And that's why staying home, it's kind of like better nowadays. I love it. Tell me, what's the hardest part of writing daily sports news, in your opinion?
It's the constant the it's a very underappreciated
Yes.
job. There's everybody's always knows more than you. Everybody, you know, thinks you're dumb. Everybody thinks you're stupid. You know, you don't know what you're talking about. Um, yeah, take a Baja Blast and a Gordita Crunch Wrap. But
I love that. Thank you, Kujo.
but that's the hard. And honestly, quite frankly, I very rarely read any of the comments on any of the websites that our news is pushed out for, just simply because that reason. I don't want to surround myself with the negativity because I
Yeah,
know for a fact I could write the most, you know, and I'm not right about everything all the time. I'm just a guy. You know what I mean? I'm one guy
who
who,
is?
that's my opinion. It's not a sexy opinion. I'm not doing it to, I'm not like others, fantasy people who just want to go on Twitter and just say something just so 6 months later they could say, "Look, I told you, you need to listen to me," and take it way too seriously and things like that. That's not what it's about. Somewhere along the line, I think people forgot that, and there's way too many egos. There's way too many people who think they know more or that they're better than you. But
Yeah,
yeah, I don't care about any of that stuff. Honestly, I just write for it's relaxing to me. I enjoy it. If people read it, great. If you don't, that's fine. I'll try to help you out the best I can and give you the best advice possible. I'm never perfect. I'm never gonna, and neither is anybody else. If anybody tells you like
no
that
one
they
is.
knew some, they're 100%. They're not. They're not being truthful with you because nobody's as perfect, and it's easy to hide behind like the Twitter, your Twitter stuff, and make yourself come across as more important or you know better and more knowledgeable, and not own up to things that you said were wrong and things like that. And that's where I think there's a lot of that's the worst part of the fantasy industry is that
Yes.
type of stuff.
So I agree with you because I've seen that a lot of good writers, good people that they're not getting the light as they supposed to, and the ones that respectfully, not everybody, but the ones that they have, like different I don't know, different places, or how they talk behind closed doors and put some people down. It's really annoying to me when I see it as well, because you said it. Not everybody is perfect. Not everybody have the best of the best. We all make mistakes. We all do some stuff. Like we have other stuff on the side. So I agree 100% with you, and I love that you are shedding a light on that as well, Dennis.
You know,
Um,
and real quick too, it's like there with all the people bantering and stuff about political things these days,
oh my
arguing
God.
about sports is a should be a break for everybody.
Yes,
There are positive ways to have discussions about sports and but doing it in a good way to where it's fun, it's constructive, you know, you're having a nice friendly debate, but it also a lot of the people online, whether it be, you know, X or Twitter or Reddit or wherever, they're just very nasty people, you know,
yeah.
just super nasty. And
So how do you deal with all of this? You were saying that you don't answer like most of the stuff and stuff like that. But how do you deal with a lot of negativity nowadays, Dennis?
I really
Especially
just
with
don't
like your mental health and stuff like that.
I really just don't care, to
Yeah,
be honest with you. I used to spend so much of my younger days worrying about like what other people thought or
yeah,
um and whether somebody was proud of me or blah blah blah. Honestly, at the end of the day, like I do want to be liked. I like when people like me. I
of
like
course.
liking people. I love loving people. But if you don't like me and you whatever, what am I gonna do? I don't care what some random person says. As long as I come home and my daughter says, Daddy, you know, and gives me a kiss and a hug and my
I
wife
love
loves
you.
me,
Yeah.
I don't really care about anything else.
I love that mentality because again like with everything with all the bad stuff that's happening in the world and with people like knowing that you are someone special in the industry, they try to put you down or they try to do stuff behind closed doors, and you like it's always you're the person that you're wrong, you're the person that you're doing a lot of bad stuff, but it's all behind closed doors, and when they come to your face, oh, you're so good, you're so whatever whatever whatever. So it's happening in my industry as well, so it's really
A lot
hard
of that is
and
human nature.
hurtful. It is, I think it's jealousy as well, so it's part of human nature, but we're seeing it a lot lately, which is really awful.
You know what? But that's just it goes with negativity. Like
Yeah.
it takes me. I'm just a naturally miserable person.
Oh,
So,
no, you're not.
well, no. What I'm saying is, it takes me a lot to. It takes a lot for me to make myself unmiserable and try to be grateful for things and talk myself into that type of thing. So
Yeah.
it's easy for me to just wake up and just be like, "Ah, it's cold outside." I gained
Yeah.
5 pounds. And just take yourself down that area. And I always have tried, and I might not ever come across it, always, but in the back of my mind, I've always been just like appreciative of, people being alive and health and blah blah blah.
True.
So, you know, you just gotta it's much easier to be negative than it is to be positive. Being negative is so easy to do, and I'm very good at being negative. It is very hard to be positive, and I think a lot of people have to practice to try to get to a point to where
Yes.
they're positive and they look on the bright side of things.
I'm always the positive person, and I look at the cup half full the whole time. I never look at it half empty. And like Pete is saying, sad as adult, it still happened. There's a lot of sad people around, and haters are going to hate definitely 100%. You are awesome, and you know like the problem is that we don't like I said, you're protecting yourself. You're protecting what you're doing. You're protecting your health, your mental health, and your family. And it takes a lot of that as well, Dennis, to do. So I do appreciate you talking about that. And no, you're an amazing person. Like I've met you and we've talked a lot, but
Oh yeah,
you're
you're
not
you're
you're not a sad
you're
person.
Yeah, you're very good energy. Anytime I talk to you, you and I, like when we started talking, we, clicked immediately. But,
Yes.
I'm not, what I'm saying is like, I can be very jovial and joke, but it's just, a lot of people, I got to work at it to do that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I got to take the steps needed in order to put myself in that, and into that good mindset. Because if I don't, I'm gonna be just miserable, because it's like I said, it's super easy to be negative. Very
Yeah.
easy.
I agree 100%. It's some people suck the life out of you, to say the least. It's crazy. I want to go back to one of the questions that Cujo is was asking. So he said, Dennis, are my Broncos for real this year? And will they go further than KC? Oh my God. Haha. And Cincinnati this postseason. What's your answer for that?
Why not? I mean, anything could happen. I don't think there's a clear cut favorite for anybody in the AFC or the NFC this year. And that's the good thing about it, is because, everybody, you could say, well, the Colts are playing well, but that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean they're going to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So, why not? The Broncos have the pieces needed. Of course, there's things they need to work on, but they have the parts needed. And it's just really getting hot, getting the right matchups in the postseason. And sure, why not?
Yeah, I love that. So let's talk a little bit about the FSWA and like the King Classic we spoke about a little bit. But what does being part of the FSWA means to you, especially that you are a writer as well?
It's just crazy to be in the same, there's a lot of like well known people in there
Yes, I agree.
that have come from there. And, I've never been like a big, like, uh, hey, look at me kind of guy, like in terms of that, you know what I mean? So I, it's nice to be in there with people who have done a lot of good things. And, um, but yeah, I don't honestly, I don't think too much of it, to be honest with you. I just kind of just enjoy the ride the best I can.
Yeah, I love that. Did you ever get nominated or not yet?
Not yet, and that's okay,
Hopefully this
because,
year. Let's hope.
well, if it happens, it happens. If not,
Yes, I agree.
but honestly, like I said, I just don't. I don't write for the notoriety. I'm barely on Twitter. I'm
Yes,
barely on anything. I don't do it for that. I do it for my own enjoyment. So,
I
you know,
agree.
a lot of people do it for, and that's another thing too. You're judged based on how many Twitter followers you have. You know,
Right? I don't have many followers, so I'm always judged.
but
I
but
go
that's
listen, I go sometimes to my Twitter and I'm losing people. So
it
I know what I'm
happens.
doing wrong.
Well, it happens, but it's really like somebody. It's really, so and so has 20,000 followers, and they're like, oh my god, you know who that is? He's so and so on it. It's like, who cares? It's a
Right?
like,
I don't care.
yeah, but unfortunately, that's what things have turned into, though, is
I
how
agree.
many people you have on X, and you know, and a
Yeah.
lot of those people just are. I don't know how they have time to do anything else, because it seems like they're always on X. You know,
Yeah. No, I don't get it. I think X should be a little bit like Facebook. If I add you as a friend, you have to add me as a friend. So this part should like come to X as well. So look at that. He have 30K followers and a total nobody.
well, I mean, I
We're
would say thirty
all
thousand.
nobodies, Cujo. We are all nobodies.
Yeah, it's just, it's very easy, because, like when we're at the expo and you see somebody, people get starstruck, you know. Oh my God,
Right?
that's so and so, that's so and so. You know what I mean? But
I never. I
whatever.
so I don't know if you heard me talking to Scott Fish. We were talking at one of our podcasts. So
Surprised you could get
we
near him. The dude's like a celebrity.
yeah. So I was talking to Scott about that. Like I never drooled over a celebrity. Like that's part of who we are. And Scott is kind of like the same. So we were talking about this stuff. I don't I don't care. I just don't. So I do see everybody the same. And I do have like a lot of people that I want to bring on the show, and they say, like, I'm a nobody. No, I am a nobody. You're not a nobody. So everybody is somebody at some point, in my opinion, at least. So you are somebody, Dennis. And I'm so honored to have you tonight on the show.
You're so I'm
Um,
gonna hug you so hard the next time I see you.
oh my God, a big hug. I'm so honored for that. Tell me, do you have any draft day rituals?
Well, a couple of years ago, I used to just like to eat a couple breakfast sandwiches and a huge cup of coffee. But I try to, I'm trying to watch the calories now. So, but I like to have a huge cup of tea and sit in my recliner and, yell at my daughter to quiet down for a couple minutes while I'm thinking. Um, but I, I just love that, you know, I love that whole like the whole hour leading up to the 1 p.m. kickoff. I'm just,
Yeah.
wake up and it's just it's great. I wish that was all year round, and that's why it's so sad when you go from season to season because you're like, now Sundays are gonna suck for a little while.
Dennis, if you could create a new fantasy league format, what would it be?
I don't know. I've never given that much thought, but I there because there's a lot of them out there. I don't know if there's anything that is left to be thought about.
Yeah,
I honestly think it's just everything has been invented already. So
I love it. So tell me, we're gonna talk about a little bit about family and personal life. How does your family keep you grounded?
um I mean honestly like I've been with my wife for 23 years and
Wow,
like my wife's my best friend. Like
I love that.
she's a great wife and we get along so well and we're like pals. Yeah, every once in a while we bicker and stuff, but
Of
you
course.
know, I always tell her when I met her, and she does, but I'm like, the first time I ever saw you, I knew I was going to marry you. And
Oh,
she doesn't believe it, but it's true. And, with my daughter, maybe my daughter is the best thing that's ever happened to me. Like, I don't care about anything. I care about, like, you know, whatever she does, I hope she does way more things and I'll be more proud. Anything she's ever has done, I'm more proud of her than anything I've ever done. You know what I mean?
wow. Yeah.
Just because like I'm just so proud. A lot of people I think take being a parent for granted, and and I'm not saying I'm a parent of the year, but I try to be mindful about being as good of a parent as I possibly can and
I love
showing my
it.
daughter that I love her, and hugging and kissing her all the time and, stuff like that. So, like, that's important to me because, you know, like somebody said, you said, or somebody wrote, like, you never know, like, it could be gone at any moment. And
Yeah.
you really just have to like savor it and let them know, that's
So
what matters to me, not people on Twitter,
I
you
agree.
know.
Tomorrow is my third car accident anniversary. So you never know. You never
So
know.
you've had
I'm
3 car accidents, or it's been 3 years since your car accident?
3 years since my car accident. This is my third
I
year.
didn't know about the car accident.
Yeah, I broke my neck, I broke my arm, and but like thank God I survived it. So I did after I went to the expo. three years ago. In November 6th, I got my accident. So nobody knows if there's tomorrow. So I love that you do that for your daughter. I love that you and Doug Orth was right in that we're not promised tomorrow. Nobody is promised tomorrow because we don't know what's gonna happen next. Tell me what's your daughter's funniest reaction to your sports obsession? Talking about her tonight.
She, you know what? She's like, and I love. She just funny with it. Like she'll send me like reels and stuff of the Bengals, you know,
You
and
kidding?
or like TikToks or whatever it is, you know, of funny things that if the Bengals lost about somebody, and
Yeah.
she's taken an interest in football, and she's taken an interest in stuff like that, and it's fun.
Is she playing fantasy football?
She's starting to dabble a little bit,
Yeah.
in it, and here, I'll bring her on real quick. She's looking at
Yes,
me.
I would love to see her.
Yeah,
Hi.
she,
Hi,
Hi.
sweetie. How are you tonight?
Yeah, what did she say?
she says, "How are you
How are
tonight?"
you? Oh, you can't hear
Good,
me.
how are you?
Good. So talking to
Oh,
dad
hold on, you put
about
those up.
yeah. I'm talking to dad about you tonight and if you are interested in playing fantasy football and what kind of funny stuff you say to him because he is so into like sports.
Why, what'd you say?
So what are you into fantasy football? You want to play?
Yeah.
Nice. And what kind of like funny stuff you say to dad because he's so much into sports?
I like to critique him on some of the stuff that he does because sometimes he makes dumb decisions.
Oh, oh my God. Dennis, I love you already. I love you. Dennis, I love her already.
Yeah, yeah,
I do. I
she's
can't.
great. She's great.
Oh my God. She critiques you because you do dumb decisions.
Hey, that's what a daughter's supposed to do to their dad.
I love her. Oh my God. She's I need to know what her favorite labubu is. She into labubus?
I don't even know what that is.
Ugh, I'm glad because they are ugly. Cujo, they're so ugly. No, no, no. No labubus for us. I agree, JC. That was really hilarious. I love your daughter. So
Thank
maybe
you.
we will have her at some point on the show.
Hey, anytime. If we get prepared, you don't know what you're asking for. I'll tell you that right
Oh my
now.
God. Please, yes. I would love to have her. That was awesome.
Yeah, she's great. She plays fantasy, or she started dabbling in a little bit. I have her set
That's
a couple lineups, and she played flag football and things like that.
great.
But girls flag football is taking off and getting
Yes.
leagues. So
So I'm someone who's a lot romantic, and you're talking about your wife. I want to ask, what the best advice your wife has given you about your career?
she's just very supportive. You know,
Yeah,
she's just always she always does kind of person that puts herself behind me and our daughter. So um, but just the support, I guess. The advice, I guess, would be just you know do whatever makes you happy, I suppose.
I agree. I agree 100%. I love that. I love that you have a support system in the house from your daughter and from your wife that they're supporting your dreams and everything. And you look like a great husband and a great dad, and I'm sure they love you for that as well. Um, so
Most
what's
of the
the
time,
most
I'm sure they do. Not maybe not all the time.
yeah. We all have our mistakes, but I'm sure that you love your family, definitely. And it shows. It shows. What's the most important lesson you want to pass to your daughter, Dennis?
Um, I don't know. It maybe not a lesson, but I think the most important thing to me would be like like my one of my biggest fears is always like I just want her to know like how much I love. I don't think I'll ever be able to put into words like how much I love my
Yes.
family, especially her. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I
I think
just
she knows.
yeah, I'm sure she does. But to me, it's when you have kids, you just can't really express it. Like you just
Agreed.
love isn't enough. You can't really tell them how you feel because it's just there's no words to describe it. Just how awesome you think they are and all that stuff. You know what I mean?
They are part of our hearts. So yeah, I agree with you. I tell my kids every single day, I love them, but I get your point. I know what you mean. So let's take it a little bit like personal and fun, and you take the personality like questions. If you weren't writing about sports, what would you do?
Well, I would love to just be retired and just do nothing.
Aren't we
That would be,
all dreaming of that?
but I just like writing. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
something. It's just something I like to do. It's just nothing. You know, I try to keep it to a point though where it doesn't turn into anything that's gonna, make me not like it. You
yeah.
know,
What's your
because it's
guilty
fun.
pleasure TV? Oh, yeah, it is fun. It is fun writing. What's your
Sometimes,
guilty
most of it is.
pleasure TV show? Sometimes.
My guilty.
Pleasure
I
for a TV show.
Yeah, I don't really. I have some movies that I watch, and I'm a big like, you know, I like to watch like romantic, like The
Yes,
Notebook and that stupid crap. But
I love it. Are you kidding me? I
well,
love
yeah,
it.
but I mean, you're a girl. I can't be saying, I say that I would get made fun of, but I'm a
No.
sucker for like sappy movies, and I watch Hallmark. So
That's why I like you, Dennis. I watch Hallmark too. So
I
I
mean,
start Christmas in November or whatever.
yeah, and it's something my wife kind of got me into. I used to make fun of it, but then I found myself like kind of just engrossed in it. So now I like to watch Hallmark movies. I
I
admit it.
love it. I love it. I love it. I love it, Dennis.
You know why I like them too? Because they always end on a good. They're always happy ending.
Yes, right? It's all the same ending, but it's happy ending.
Same plot, same everything, happy ending. Nothing different
Different
about any
people.
of it. It's a prince. There's a princess. Or the guy's gonna lose his house
Yeah.
or the farm and it's a stupid crap just recycled over and over again, but I like it.
But we all want this happy ending. Like everybody wants this happy ending. That's why we love it, right? We all want
But
that.
that's why it's so good because it's just
Yes.
it's like very happy, you
Positive.
know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
If you
yeah,
could if you could have dinner with any athlete, who would it be and why?
Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean Hulk Hogan too. I've always been a huge wrestling guy. Um,
I love it.
and you know, and yeah, I love Hulk Hogan. I would have it with Hulk Hogan, and really, I don't really. I've never been like, I've never really idolized like a lot of people like from a sports perspective. You know what I mean? Like I appreciate their talent and everything,
Yes.
but little fat 3-year old Dennis, watching wrestling, the is that to me is would be like the ultimate thing. But other than that, I don't really have like any celebrities or anything that
Yeah.
I would really even care about.
I love that. Um, what's your hidden talent outside of sports?
Honestly, I don't think I have one, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
My hidden talent is that's just very boring. Like my hidden talent is sitting in the chair and watching TV. I mean, but it's not really hit. Like
Why not?
I'm very like plain. I really don't have a lot of like exciting things that I like to do or anything because I just like to be home and just like in my little bubble. To be sometimes to go out and I know this is not hidden talent, but it's
Yeah,
so in order for me to like go out and and be sociable and stuff, like it takes a lot of mental effort. I'm very good at being around people and being, kind of like charismatic and crack joke, stupid jokes and all that stuff, but my most comfortable persona is just kind of like reclusive and you know so having that kind of lifestyle I haven't really developed any hidden talents or anything along the way.
yeah. So, tell me, what's your dream project in sports media?
You know what, I've never even thought about that
No?
because I'm just so focused on like it's Cujo. Yeah, it's good. Of course, yes. I don't know. I don't really, I just enjoy what I'm doing now. So I just don't really have anything dream because to me, I'm like doing it kind of right now, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
it does.
It's not like I have aspirations to like go to this website and write or that website. I don't have any of that. It's just, I just want to just keep enjoying it. That's all, you know.
Nice. How do you see the future of fantasy football, fantasy sports evolving, especially with AI coming onto like onto perspective?
Well, I think like a lot of people are worried, especially like sports people who write that AI is going to be a replacement. But
Yeah,
I'm a demolition guy with Strike Force, Doug, by the way. Um, I think AI, but what people is AI doesn't have that personality to it.
no,
AI is when you get somebody actually writing something, they have an opinion. There's emotion behind it.
true.
Robots can't do that. You know what I mean? So I think AI, there's going to be a lot of good tools that are driven by AI. And, it's much easier to access information from AI. But I don't think the heart of fantasy football will always be just people, whether it be people are writing about it or people just that's where it's always going to be. And I think it's just getting bigger and bigger. And I think it's going to continue to grow because I think, as a lot more women are becoming, which is awesome. A lot more women are getting into fantasy sports. And
I love that. Yes,
you know what I mean? And that's great. And it's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger.
I hope so. What advice would you give to an inspiring writers?
Just listen to feedback, whatever there's going to be some bumps in the road. Like I look back on past work that I've done and I'm like, God, I can't believe you wrote that or you didn't put a comma here and blah, blah, blah. But it's not as easy as people think it is. It's really
No, it's
not. It's very like to, so you got to know like, does this word have a hyphen? Does this guy's name have a capital A or a lowercase a? Does it have an apot? Like literally there's so much little detail, so I guess you got to pay it and I've been guilty of um you got to really pay attention to the small details
yeah,
because you'll get eaten alive if you mess something up
I
by
agree.
people.
And
and it
I
and it
see that.
kind of yeah, and it kind of like makes it kind of um lessens your value is not that you make a mistake, that's one thing, but unfortunately if you make a mistake on a spelling of a guy's name it devalues you as a
Right?
writer even if you made an honest mistake. So I think very, paying attention to small things and being detail oriented is important. And I also think it's important to be open to taking constructive feedback from
Fe-
people.
I agree.
Um,
And double check your work. Like always double check your work.
well, I go a step further and like triple check it,
Yeah,
because the hardest part is like you have to write. Sometimes you got to write fast because you want to get your stuff out quick, but
I agree.
take that extra minute. And I've learned this the hard way at times, is take the extra minute to just make sure everything is good, you know.
Yes.
So, and the feedback is important because there's a lot of people who have a lot of good knowledge, and if you aren't open minded to taking suggestions and feedback on how to improve, then it's not going to help you. A lot of people are very good natured. They're helping you. They're telling you this to make you better. They're not telling you this because they doubt your ability. So you don't
Right.
always have to say, well, I did it this way because I thought that it should have been. Just shut up and take the feedback and move on with your
100%.
day.
That's what's make you better, in my opinion. That's always what makes someone better. The feedback and the listening to everything. We're almost like at the end of our podcast, Dennis. I don't want to like finish the podcast because you're such an interesting person, and I want to hear more about you, your family, and everything that you do. But I want to ask you a couple more questions before we're done. So, um, and this question is gonna make you giggle at some point. But if you had to explain fantasy sports to an alien, how would you do it?
Well, it's kind of funny though, that because when everybody says, "Well, what's the Fantasy Expo like?" and I'm like, it's literally like a glorified Star Wars convention.
Oh,
Like, you know
I
what I
love
mean?
that.
Like,
Yes.
like you got the nerds that go around into Star Wars conventions, but the people at the expo are kind of just as nerdy. So
We're all
yes,
nerds.
it's not an explanation to an alien per se, but it ties into Star Wars because really the people in fantasy sports are very nerdy. And I'm not knocking anybody because I am a nerd too. But you go to the fantasy sport,
I love that.
you know, but that's why you got like, especially you, like like you got to be careful there because you got all these like breathing guys and stuff that just, so being a woman, an attractive woman in that industry, like that area, you know God help you, because a lot of those guys, they go there, you know they it's just not a they're just nerds. It's there's no other way to say it. So I
I'm a nerd
mean,
too, so I'm fine.
yeah, I'm 100% a nerd, but there's people just, it's one thing to be nerdy, but then to look nerdy. And some people are just either or. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's not any different from a Star Wars convention, I'll tell you that.
Wow, I love that. I love that you gonna tell aliens about Star
Yeah,
Wars.
I'd be like, have you ever seen Star Wars? Have you ever seen Star Wars conventions where people walk around with lightsabers and all that other garbage? Well, that's what the fantasy convention's like. It's all
I
people
love that.
talking about air yards, people. This guy had this many yards per carry and blah. And sometimes I'm sitting there, I'm like, I didn't even know that. So, yeah.
I like that. I like that. If your life had a highlight reel, what's the closing play?
Like, what would my closing play be?
Yes.
So, like, how do I want my closing play to look like? Like, are we going to like? Well, I hope it's not like laid on a bed and eating, oatmeal out of a tube in my stomach or something. You know what I mean?
No. Oh my God, no.
And
No, never.
unfortunately, like, you know, and that goes back to, you know, appreciating what you have in your youth, and
Yes.
being stuff like so. I hope that's not my anything would be better than that, I guess.
Yeah, I
Sitting in
agree.
some bed, eating pudding. Because I can't move my, something like. So any closing play besides that is fine with me.
I love that. One more question, Dennis, before we're done. And this question I asked to everybody on the podcast. I want you to tell me and tell our audience tonight something that you never shared before, maybe a secret or something that you did at an early age that you never spoken of at all, and you're gonna share it on the Game Changers tonight. And Mel love
Well,
that.
I did rob a bank one time.
What?
No,
No.
I never did that. Of course, I,
See, I didn't believe you for 1 second.
I was gonna be like, well, I robbed a bank. Um, I killed a bunch of people. I buried their body. No, I don't
Oh my
know.
God.
Honestly,
Now,
you know what?
now I'm
I
scared.
Yeah, no, don't worry. That's a joke. So
Of
nobody
course
come
not.
knocking on my
Of
door.
course. Oh my God, yes.
Um,
The daughter made him do it.
right, right.
Doug.
Um, you know what? I don't think I had. Honestly, I am so loose-lipped with everything that I've always like. And for here, I had to like turn my volume down a lot because I could get very like crude and what comes from here comes right out, and I don't filter it. So
I
I
love
don't really think that there's any stories or anything that I've never not told anybody.
Maybe
Like
not me. You want to tell me a story that you never told me?
um you know what? I really can't think of anything. I mean, there's all the stupid things I've done, like the other day I was telling, my friends about the time I pooped my pants, eating a bunch of hot dogs one day. Like that's the kind of stuff that just flows out of my mouth. So
Yeah.
there's nothing like I ever just hide, you know what I mean? So I don't really have anything good that I can bring up because I think just everything just comes out so much that I don't put any stock into anything, if that makes sense.
I love no, I love that. Dennis, thank you so much
But
for
when I think of something,
tonight's
I'll
show.
let you know. I'll
Yes,
try to think of something
definitely.
for the next time I see you.
Definitely. You have to send it to me for sure. So, Dennis, before I wrap up, please let our listeners, how they can connect with you online and stay updated with your work. And if you have anything that you want to share about your writing or where you are writing or anything else, please share that with our audience.
Well, if you want to follow me on X, it's Dennis M. Clausen. So then my name's right there. I also have a podcast, a basketball podcast with a couple of my buddies, um, the Atlantic Files. So if you go on YouTube, type in the
Nice.
Atlantic Files, give us a follow. That'd be great. Um, it's just something we like to do for fun. Don't listen around your kids because, we get a little vulgar sometimes, so it's not a good idea. But just to forewarn you. But yeah, that's about it. If you follow me, great. If you don't, I don't care about whatever.
Whatever. Following Dennis now. That's Cujo is saying that he's gonna follow you now. Thank you,
Thanks,
Cujo.
Cujo.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, no, it's not that I don't care that it, but I don't waste my time on people who don't like. I want to meet good people. I've met
I
so many
agree,
good people, and I
100%.
and I want to surround myself with good people.
I love that. I love that. You are good people. So
Well,
thank you so
thank
much
you.
for tonight, Dennis. You really like you and your daughter. You made my night, especially that I lost
Oh, thank you.
my dog on Monday. He was 14 years old, and our fur babies are our babies as well. So that was such a fresh air for me. I really appreciate your time. I really appreciate you a lot, and I cannot thank you enough for being on the show. So this is
I could
our
send you. I could send you my daughter. I mean, she's 12. She smells like a dog sometimes. So I mean, you know how 12-year-olds are. you know.
Yeah, I would love her. I would love her. Kujo, you're asking me if you're good people. I'm questioning that after saying that I need to take my chiefs off. No, you are good people, Kujo. I'm sure you are.
I just
Everybody
want to know
is
about this
until they
Taco
prove me
Bell
wrong.
that
What?
I said I want to know about this Taco Bell that everybody's talking about.
I know, right? So for me, everybody is good people until they prove me wrong. So we are all good. We are here for to make a change in the world. So we are good people, and I do respect everybody, and I'm like that person. So thank you so much for joining me on this episode of the Game Changers. I hope today's conversation gave you a fresh perspective, not just on fantasy football, but the game of life. Mark your calendar next week. It's Stacy Perez for number 99. So one more episode before my 100th episode of the Game Changers with Stacy Perez. You gotta join me next week. You don't want to miss that opportunity to sit and talk with Stacy Perez as well. A huge thank you for JC for his behind the scene magic and the powerhouse team at TSA for making this platform possible. If you enjoyed the episode, subscribe, leave us a review, and follow us on social media. Thank you again for everything. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Dennis.
Thank
And
you.
until
It's
next
awesome
time,
to be. It's awesome. You're awesome. I appreciate
you
it.
too. Thank you.
I can't
You
wait
are
to see you
awesome.
again.
Takes one to see another Dennis. Until next time, keep challenging the game and making your mark. This is Carla with Dennis signing off. We wish you a pleasant evening. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you.